Hello, my name's Owen and welcome to the JOL Wedding podcast. Join myself and my co-host Caroline as we bring you all the inspiration and advice you need whilst planning your wedding. Hi everybody, welcome to welcome to 2024. Welcome to another episode Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of the JOL Wedding podcast.
And we're now moved into our dining room.
We've now moved into our dining room, a very big upgrade this year in terms of equipment.
We have mics. We are officially now getting...
We're now podcasters.
We're podcasters.
We're proper podcasters. What better way to start 2024 off is we're having Christian Fletcher with us. How are you doing, buddy? Are you okay?
I'm very good. It can only get better from here. Just set the bar quite low to start with, but yeah.
We haven't said what Christian actually does.
So Christian is your host and entertainer and a magician.
Correct. International sex symbol. You name it.
No, wonderful. Well, I want to kind of start with, that is such a great kind of part of the business, the wedding industry to be a part of. I wouldn't have the guts to be able to kind of stand up, talk in front of everybody like that, the way you do during the speeches. I know, but I'm talking to a camera here, whereas rather having a lot of people watching, I'm trying to move that out of my mind. So
we met Christian. We've met him quite a few times.
Yeah, I first met you. It was at Rob Baston, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's the first time I met you.
We've done half a dozen weddings, whatever it may be.
So that's how. Yeah, I think we met you there first time round, and then majority of our meetings have been at the Mill Barns. Absolutely lovely barn venue in Shropshire. Well, more Bridge North, isn't it? Or Staffordshire.
Staffordshire, still Shropshire? Still Shropshire? Bridge North, Shropshire?
It just goes.
I don't know.
It just goes in the sat nav.
It goes in the sat nav, and we go.
We know the way. Blindfolded now.
And we go. But yeah, no, lovely to have you on. I kind of want to start with, hang on, as the clock goes one.
How was last year anyway? How was your year last year?
Last year was good. Very, very good. Wet. I don't know about you guys.
It was
photo
wet.
And video-wise, but it felt like there was a lot of rain.
It was a wet summer.
Everywhere.
I've heard a lot of people saying it was very, very rainy year.
As an entertainer, I felt like I was doing more inside
than outdoors.
Than out on the grass. I was in the bath,
Yeah.
The sunshine makes a big difference for an entertainer.
I think it makes a big difference for everyone there in general. So in terms of, it makes our life a lot easier when it's sunny. You get all those gorgeous kind of sunset shots and everything like that. But then I think it improves the guest's mood as well. So rather than when it's cold. Yeah. When the
sun's out, they're halfway there. They're in a good mood already.
Yeah. I think for you as well, depending on venues, if everyone's inside, is it quite hard to then go round and be round?
Yeah, there's pros and cons. I'd say there's definitely more cons. But yeah, but like I said, if the sun's out, I just think everyone's in a good mood and you're onto a winner. But yeah, last year seemed to be very, very wet.
Well, in terms of kind of guest interaction anyway, I think you've probably, out of all of us, have the most guest interaction, so you'll kind of know whether the guests are kind of feeling all right, especially
you can hide in the corner with a Zoom, can't you? You just zoom in. I can zoom in.
People don't even know I'm there.
No, Central. I like to get involved.
Oh, we do like to get involved, but yeah, I think in terms of interacting with the guests and everything, I think you're probably number one to kind of guess. Oh, are the guests all right?
In the trenches, we call it.
Yeah, in the trenches.
Dealing with the drunkenness and the hype and all. Yeah, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, I think that's I think we spoke about this in previous episodes as well. Every day's a wedding. Every day's a happy day.
Happy day. And I think obviously we before we came on air, we sort of said about what our podcasts are for couples. Planning a wedding, looking at suppliers and thinking what do we need, what don't we need, and things like that.
Getting all the best tips from
that. So we personally love the cocktail hour, because then having people like yourselves or I don't know, a violinist or I don't know, we have all sorts of
music duos and everything like that.
Yeah. Obviously, when people are planning a day, there's certain lulls in a wedding, and some people think about entertainment in those times. And this is why we thought actually get an amazing...
Get someone on who does that very, 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 very well.
Yeah.
You are the man that they need to go to.
So how did you get into magic?
How did I start? So I grew up in a pub. This is a very long story, which I'll try and make as quick as I can. I grew up in a pub.
Get out of my pub.
Get out of my pub.
It was one of those, that was my dad, not my mum, but yeah, my dad was like that. So, growing up, learning magic, as being introduced to it, I always had an audience that I could just, if my mum and dad were sick of seeing it, I could just go downstairs and there'd be like 50 new customers I could just try my stuff on. And that was where I kind of learned the ropes.
That's a great way to be able to.
It fast tracked it, yeah. I think,
Yeah.
because, like I said, if I was learning something new, even as a youngster, I've got my mum, my dad, and my sister.
Yeah.
Very quickly got fed up of it. So it was like I needed someone who, fresh meat, if you like, I could just go and practice on.
Yeah.
And like I said, I would go downstairs, there'd be 20, 30, 40 people in the pub that I could just go to, of all different demographics, men, women, old, young, and it just
You know what worked then for different people.
by the end of
well.
it, yeah. I mean, stuff went wrong all the time, but by the end of it, like I said,
You dropping your little balls and your cards were going everywhere, and
I've made mistakes. Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes happen, but yeah.
But that's going to do hell of a lot for your confidence as well. Being able to, go down to strangers and just talk to them and be able to perform for them like that. That is.
I always there was always an audience there. So like now, if I have a new, like obviously I don't live in a pub anymore, but if I had a new trick, sometimes I've got to wait a couple of weeks before I try on someone other than my wife. Whereas back then I could literally just go to, and I could go in the bar, and if it went wrong, I could just go in the lounge and try on someone new, and then go in the beer garden, and before long it was perfect.
Is there certain tricks that you like to do? Their favourites, is it?
Yeah, there are.
Is it?
Well, yeah, for different reasons.
Illusions.
I have my favourites, which I like, and I like performing, but then the audience might find them really boring, so I don't get to do them as much because they're not as commercial, which is a real terrible answer to give. But then there's it is less about magic. This is going to sound really cheesy. It is less about magic and more about having fun with people and just having a laugh. And like you've seen me on the wedding day, I'll be like flirting with the old granny and doing anything like that just to get a laugh and have a bit of fun. Mm-hmm. And in all the photos and hopefully the video of me at weddings is just people laughing and just smiling. And I think I realised very early on, magic is quite hard to capture on film
and photos. Yeah,
particularly with weddings, if you're going to put music over it and stuff, it's hard to do something in 3 or 4 seconds that is going to show well on camera.
Yeah.
And I learned early on if I could just get them laughing and you get a snapshot of that, then that's going to be better. And it's just...
I think the last wedding we did, I believe, was that Laura and Stuart.
Yeah.
Laura and Stuart.
October,
November.
Yeah, October wedding. And I've got this one reaction because I get, kind of the close-ups of your hands, the wide one of yourself kind of doing that, which leads the story on. And the reaction, he could not believe his eyes. And everyone was just laughing at him, completely laughing at him. And it was absolutely hilarious.
You did one that, it was on that Instagram. You used my phone. And you said that, because it's really
my God,
hard,
yes, I remember
really
this.
hard with internet there, isn't it?
Yeah. So
and we were out on the decking, and
we'll kind of put it into context. I think this was during the wedding breakfast. We were kind of sat down having something to eat, having a chat.
It was before that. It was outside on the decking, and you may not have been there. You might be videoing something else.
I might have been something.
Yeah.
Else.
And
I remember it now.
You said
a pin number.
Pin
it was
number.
a lady, or I think maybe a gentleman.
Yeah, it was a lady.
His phone pin number, the passcode for the phone. Yeah, and it's predicted. This out of context. This is going to sound terrible.
Out of context.
So there's a situation where I predict, in this case, the lady's passcode for a phone.
Yeah.
And normally they're going to go, well, I don't believe you. But then on her phone, she checks Instagram, and it was predicted on my story.
It was a story.
An hour ago or 2 hours ago, whenever it may be. Yeah.
Honestly, it was amazing. And then obviously
you've seen this.
I haven't seen that one. That's incredible.
I've seen. It was like I was like that. What the hell?
I've seen the one that you done with the Polaroid. That was incredible.
We did that upstairs.
That's the one we did upstairs. That's the one I was talking about during our break.
Yeah, so you asked that.
That was incredible.
I'll have to put this in this on.
Can you clip? So if you've got any footage,
Yeah.
put this in. So
Oh, yeah,
people know what we're talking about. Then.
Yeah.
So you asked us to hold up a Polaroid, and it was blank.
Yeah, undeveloped blank Polaroid.
Yeah, and then you went pick a number,
and then we have a list of landmarks from around the world, about 100 of them, and then we take a picture using your phone. We take a picture of you holding the Polaroid.
Yeah.
And then whatever landmark you choose, you then check your phone, and it's
on there, and it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away your best tricks and
He's probably got
most certain secrets.
No, he's got 3 really. That's it. That's it. Your job's done. Your job's done.
3 trick pony.
As they say, a magician never reveals his secrets.
No.
But no, I think that just having a magician on the day, and then as a host as well, I think that it just blends perfectly together. Like you say, it's making people laugh and making people feel comfortable.
I'm forever telling people, when I do wedding fairs and open days, and I literally say to them, even if you don't get me, get a magician. Because it just makes sense. I know I'm really biased.
Yeah.
But just, like you mentioned, the lull.
It's the lulls. It's those times.
Let's go back to the start. The drinks reception.
Yeah.
So they get married, the couple get married, and they come. It's all, big hype, and they come out and everyone's on a high. And if there could be 40 guests, there could be like 140 guests. The couple themselves can only talk to so many people at once.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to talk to them. So there ends up being a bit of a queue, right? Like I said, they can only talk to so many people at once. It just makes sense to have me or someone else.
I tell you what,
keeping everyone else entertained while they're waiting to say congrats.
Yeah, well, and also that they're having photos with family, they're having couple photos. So you've got possibly 60, 70, 80 people there
hanging around,
doing just nothing. Drinking, just talking. But like I say, when you've got that little bit of entertainment, a magician out,
it just makes it. Honestly, I hammer it home to everyone. Look,
it does.
Even if you don't get me, just go and get a magician, because it works. It honestly works. But it just brings people together. Yeah. It gets them chatting. And the magician will walk away, and literally the guests will be going, "Well, how did you do that? Have you ever seen a magician before?" And you see the conversation.
The thing is, it leads into conversations when you've got people going to go and sit down to eat, and they're sitting on tables with people they don't know, different parts of the family and things like that. So when they go, we've had the magician, but he's done this trick, and it starts conversations.
Even the ones who haven't seen me, they
it honestly starts conversations as well. It is really, really good.
It's like what you were saying, like just happen. You don't even care if it's yourself. Just happen. That's the exact same what I say when it comes to videography as well. Because not everyone is certain on having a video. But if they don't have me, please just go and have one. I don't care if you spend £200 just to have someone film your wedding.
Just get it done.
Get it done, because
they regret not doing it.
Or even having, like you say, if the budget is definitely not there, having someone with a little camera,
just a little camera, and anything, just to capture your day. Because realistically, what you basically take away from your day is your photos and your video, but then having the memories of seeing yourself, as the entertainer there, to be able to, you go, oh my God, I can't remember when he did that, and everything like this.
It brings people together.
It brings everyone together, and it's just fabulous.
Well, I'll start with, in a drink reception, I'll approach literally 2 people or 4 people, 2 couples, and then by the end of it, there'll be like 15, 16 people around it, and it brings people together. It
does.
No, it's fabulous. But the main thing I would really want to know is, how did your journey go from in a pub?
From that pub.
Right, okay,
to weddings.
To where we are now. I don't know too much about it because I was oblivious to it when it happened. But a customer in the pub, I'd been, the very first wedding, I think I was about 15 or 16. And a customer in the pub, a regular, had a word with my dad and said, "We're getting married next week. Send Chris along to just do his thing." And this was a conversation that they had. I was oblivious to it, right? Next thing I know, on the Saturday, Dad was like, "Put a shirt on, come on."
Go to a wedding.
Right, yeah. And he dropped me off, and he said, "Oh, so-and-so, like, just when you go in, look for him." I didn't know what I was doing, just wandered into this place as a teenager and just kind of stood at the bar with a pack of cards and kind of looked around going, "Oh, I know him, he'll do." Approached the fella and said, "Yeah." And then he just pushed me around the room and said, like, "Go and what you showed me the other night, go and show him, and go and show Uncle Tom, and go and show her," and all this stuff. And then about an hour later, I think I got 50 quid for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the number was. I didn't even see the money. My dad had it. Right? And then he picked me up and I went home. And that was that. And I just thought it was a couple of hours out the house.
Mm-hmm.
But then from that wedding, again, somebody contacted my dad because this was before Facebook and everything like that.
Yeah.
So they'd go through him and go, well, we seen Chris at that wedding. We're having a barbecue next week around our house with about 30 people. Get him round. And again, I'd just get pushed around the sort of
That
village that
sort
I
of
lived
pimped
in.
you out then.
Dad's secret agent. This is agent.
Like part-time entertainment agent. Wasn't he? It was just, yeah. But
I'll have
he literally just kind of put me in all these positions. I didn't know what I was doing until kind of like after about 3 or 4 gigs. And I was like, that's true.
I'm onto something.
Because I've got an older sister who was working in the newsagents for £3 an hour.
Yeah.
And then I was going to do a few card tricks and get about 50 quid. She was fuming, right? And I'm like, okay, I'll deal with this, So, but that's what it was for years. It was, and I say these gigs, I was doing them like once every couple of months. It wasn't like every week,
Yeah.
Every now and again, something would happen, and then I'd just get invited to a party or a barbecue or whatever. And then it just progressed slowly, ever so slowly. I then became, when I was about 18, a job opportunity came up in Spain, where I went out there for 9 months, and I was living in Spain, just south of Barcelona, which was beautiful. Because on my day off, I'd go to the Nou Camp and watch the football. Oh, it was brilliant. So out in Spain, I was performing in a cabaret bar where we do 2 shows a night every night. So in terms of learning the ropes, again, go back to that.
Yeah.
Again, I could practice a trick, and it would be like within a week, it would be like I've done it 100 times.
Yeah.
And then came back from Spain, and that was when I was 19, and never got a proper job. So
is it an 18-year-old kind of going out to Spain?
Yeah, it
That's
was
incredible. How was your Spanish?
Terrible, because the only Spanish people I met were taxi drivers and hotel receptionists. Everyone else, all the bar workers were English and Irish and Scottish.
Oh, I think that helped you out massively.
All the holiday makers were British. Yeah, so I did go out there with the goal of learning Spanish, and it just never got off the ground. So I can order a couple of beers and a taxi. And that's enough.
So I think that's my one regret: not learning another language.
Do you know what?
When we're at school, it's like, learn another language because
my head just doesn't understand it. I really want to. I've got magician friends who do cruise ships.
Yeah.
And they do their act in English, German, Italian, French, Spanish, like 8, 9, 10 different languages. And I'm struggling with English. I'm like, I don't know. It just doesn't. My brain doesn't comprehend how to work languages. I'm jealous because never could get my head around it.
Yeah, it would just be amazing to be able to do that.
I'd love just to go learn a language and tell nobody, and like a really obscure language.
Bring it out one night.
So when people go, when you can hear people, going like this, and then you know exactly what they're saying, and they think you know nothing, and then just come out and go and reply.
I had a wedding in Italy, which sounds really exotic. I don't do destination weddings. This was a friend. So I got suckered into this one. And I thought the groom was Italian. Mm-hmm. So obviously a lot of Italians over there. The bride was English, and there was a dozen or so that travelled over. Me and my wife went over, and I thought, well, I'll take a pack of cards and take a few things that I can show, the guests what I do. And the groom had actually requested it, and he got me over with all his boys, all these Italian lads, and said, go on then, off you go. Now, beforehand, I'd Googled certain phrases and things just to get me through.
Yeah.
So the first one, and I'll never forget it, the first phrase was choose a card, right? Obvious, for a magician.
Choose a card.
So fan the cards out, choose a card. And I'll never forget, it was scegli una carta, right? And I said it, and literally about 6 of these blokes looked at me and went, what? Like, nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of said it again, nothing. And then the groom was like, Chris, what are you trying to say? And I went, is it choose a card? And he was like, no. You're saying scegli una carta. It should be scegli una carta. And I'm like, that's what I said. That's exactly what I said. And he was like, no, what you're saying is it's gibberish. It doesn't make. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So that's my experience with languages and learning it abroad.
Yeah.
Just
don't bother.
In one ear out the other.
Yeah.
But now on the phone, you can just talk into it, and then it plays it back. And
I've seen TikToks. It's so funny where you say certain words, and it just from English to another language,
Well, no, you just do that with your
but-
Alexa. Hey, Alexa.
Yeah, but then
Say-
oh yeah, Alexa, say something. And I'll tell you what, you can make some really funny words with it.
Literal translations just mean completely different things, don't they?
Yeah. I can't remember any of them, but it's
This is
so
like
funny.
non-wedding talk now, but I got told that a lot of the German words are like quite long. Like, letters in the word are quite long.
Yeah.
And someone told me once that it's because certain words that they actually don't have, like kettle, for example. There's no German word for kettle, right? But instead they call it water heater, which is like in their language is why it's so many letters. Like we could have a 4, 5, 6 letter word that in German would be like 19 letters long.
But it's the same with Welsh, because Welsh is so old. They haven't got a word for microwave. So it's poppy ping.
Poppy ping.
Just the noise it makes.
It's the noise it makes. But yeah, no, it's I would love to learn a different language, but
I think that I mean, in terms of kind of putting that back into the wedding business, I think that just helps us if we were to go abroad or do something like that. Actually, I did a wedding at Walcott Hall. No, it's not just on holiday.
I feel a bit ignorant. Only
2 beers.
I've done a wedding at Walcott Hall, and I spoke to this couple. They live over in Geneva, so Switzerland, and they came over here and had their wedding. She was English. He was Swiss. So all of his family came over. So in Switzerland, they speak French. So I've got 70 guests who all speak French. Some of them speak English.
Trying to get them
some of them don't.
Certain positions for the photos. Isn't it?
Well, yeah. So lucky enough with video versus photo, I've got the easy job because the photographer had to go and talk to them and kind of put them into their order. But then, so I just got to capture. But when you're trying to interact with someone or talk to someone, say, when I'm trying to mic someone up for the speeches, and if they're French or something like that, so I think it was his mother had to do a reading during the ceremony, so I had to try and kind of work my way to put this on so I can capture your reading. But you do that when someone's speaking another language and you talk like this, so they try and understand you. It's like when you try and talk to kind of an elderly person, whether they either can't hear or deaf, but they can't hear very well, and then you talk. Can you hear me? And things like that. It makes it harder.
I need to get James. We did a wedding, Golston Hall. For the life of me now, this is going back a fair few years. I can't think what language what nationality she is and what language she spoke, but her mum didn't speak a word of English, and cheese was in their language Hungarian. She was Hungarian. Cheese in Hungarian is something like bollocks or something. And it's honestly you're shouting, you had to shout like, he's coming now. What was the word, James? Shite! That was it. So cheese was shite. So we're going shite. And
every day.
Everyone, majority were English. She had a few relations from Hungary, but her mum spoke no English at all. So she was there all day. And
this for me, I feel ignorant when we go abroad on holiday and things.
Yeah.
Like the people that you meet speak English, and I don't speak Spanish or Italian. But never got into my head.
I reckon that's a great TikTok idea for yourself. Go abroad and go up to random people and do a magic trick and put it on TikTok. That'll go mental.
I thought it would have been done now. Do you ever look at like Britain's Got Talent and go,
I could do that.
I've done that. That's oh my god, that's so easy. Oh my god, it's so easy. I know you can go, I know how that's done, love. He's just done that.
Yeah, to me, you get to a certain level. Like when you start out, you're a beginner. Very quickly it's ironic with magic because you get into it because someone will show you a trick and you're dying to figure it out, or you're dying to know how it's done, and then you figure it out, and then you can't go back from that. You lose that moment of like wonder, if you like.
Yeah.
And the more you get into magic, the more you learn and the more you know about methods and how things work, the less of that you get, the less impressed you get, right?
Yeah.
So, but very quickly, you do you see stuff and you work out like, well, I know how that's done. And you guys are like the muggles, right? You'll be impressed by it. But we're there going, that's kind of good. But you look at it I think in an artistic way, and you think you're impressed about the magic, and
Yeah.
you know, you've got no idea how it works. Whereas I'm more impressed about I know how it works, but it's
There's a line he's
the
talking,
lighting and the staging and,
Yeah,
the pattern
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. You know, so you look at it in a slightly different way.
It's exactly the same as us. Like we'll look at a photo and go,
Yeah.
People go, oh my god, it's an amazing photo, and I'll go,
Exactly.
they've done that wrong. I would have done that, and you.
I just see
see
a
it, just go
photo.
and go,
You
wow.
see colours,
Yeah, the
shadows,
technical.
lighting, and all that kind of stuff.
But obviously, you're not just the magician. So, obviously, talking to our obviously people here planning a wedding. When you're planning a wedding, especially if you're doing a DIY wedding, you've got marquees, you've got venues that sort of don't really.
They don't really command the day. Don't really run the day.
They don't. They just let the day flow.
They might.
Having someone that, like Christian, that comes and he does his magic. Obviously going back to Laura and Stuart's wedding last year, when obviously everyone comes in to have their food and you announce the bridesmaids in, then you announce the groomsmen in, then the best man, and then obviously the bride and groom, and you pick certain songs for them, or they pick certain
this
songs.
has evolved into what you saw a couple of months ago.
And sorry, Laura and Stuart, I have to say this, but especially your bridesmaid as well, as she walked in.
Oh my god!
I can't think what song it was now.
I'll be able to find out.
I swear it was like Beyonce or something.
And
Beyonce
sometimes they request them though. So I get we'll talk about this because I've been a magician for 15 years, let's say, and that many weddings I'd be part of, and then when they all go in for dinner, they'd have normally an usher or someone in the bridal party, normally an usher that would literally stand at the front and just go, "Ladies and gentlemen, the new Mr. and Mrs. whoever," right?
Or
Jones.
Mr. or Mr.
And the amount of times that it would be terrible.
Everyone just claps. Yeah.
It's like they'd mutter, no one really understand what they're saying, and nobody would be paying attention. And then the couple would come in to just like, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of got a little bit annoyed. And then I'd seen other venues kind of take control of it and go, well, look, we'll give you a big entrance. And there's a few venues that I go to that really go all out and make it a big moment. I think for you, for photo and video, I think it's a big moment. Like when the couple come into the room, everyone's on their feet and cheering. It should be.
Yeah, I think
when it doesn't happen, I'm a bit like.
I think more so for video. Because I really get those reactions as they happen, because you can completely see it with a photo. It is a moment captured, bang, one frame. But when you see that, and obviously you get to hear all the screams and cheers, it adds so much more passion and everything to the video itself. Obviously on video, it's all about emotions. The way
there's a big difference between when they do the ceremony and they get announced as the newlyweds. There's almost like a yay, But then 2 hours later, they've had a couple of drinks in them, and it's just a whole different kind of energy,
whole different level.
They're livened up a lot more by that point. So, but and like I said, I'd seen other venues kind of make a moment of it, and then full credit to another magician down in kind of London, Ipswich, actually he's based in, but he was doing a lot of work in London, and he took on the role of this magical host. So he was the magician and the host, and then he put it out to me, and there's a few other magicians that are doing it now, and it just makes sense because I've done my magic in the drink reception. I've got the rapport with the guests, and I know who the fun ones are, and who the kind of the idiots are, the drunken ones, and all that kind of stuff. So that by the time I get to the wedding reception, the wedding breakfast, and I'm announcing them in. Like they know who I am at this point. So I can really milk it and kind of turn it into a bit more of a moment for them. And again, it was just a happy couple.
Yeah.
And now it's evolved into bridesmaids. Sometimes the parents get involved.
I think that's sort of come from America. So if you look,
American,
TikTok and things like that, and
big in America.
It is really, really
Australia
big.
as well. It's all the Aussies and
so obviously you get some that come in like 2x2 and things like that. But when
they go all out on it,
they do.
I do, but I mean. The bridal party, they've got like choreographed dance routines. And
I think that's also the line between British and American.
Yeah.
I think because
I have a few that have done it, but not everyone. Everyone just
majority. When you look at majority American wedding, they're wild. Americans are wild, but when you come,
my sort of wedding, that's what
that's what we. I'd love to. I'll tell you what, I'd love to be in the wedding industry over in America.
Yeah,
how much they earn compared to what we earn over here, but that's a completely different subject. But just seeing that, and then obviously you get a traditional British kind of wedding, who people
I
you
think-
you kind of think of the people I'm kind of
Yeah.
talking about.
A bit more reserved.
A bit more reserved.
I
And,
think we are. I think British people are a little bit more reserved. So I think with you, you know how to push certain elements. Either it's magic, it's comedy, it's,
Yeah.
jokes
it's
and things like
having
that.
those jokes, getting them up on their feet. You're sort of saying, you're announcing the bridesmaids and the one bridesmaid. I think it was about 4 or 5 bridesmaids, wasn't there?
At this wedding.
Laura's wedding.
Yes.
And they came in and one literally dropped to the floor and started doing
Roly polies, everything.
It was like a break dance type.
Oh yeah,
thing.
it's like a breakdance type thing.
Maudsley went all out the window because her dress went
Obviously, if you think of breakdancing in a very long bridesmaid's dress.
As good or as daft as that is, whichever way you look at it, that's good for you though, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
For
It's
Facebook video.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
But yeah, it was brilliant. Of course,
But it's trying to blur things out that you didn't really want to see. That's the line where it comes to.
It's nice that as obviously I'm a bridesmaid to be in a few months, and
Whoop, whoop.
it's nice that.
Do you want a big entrance?
You do. I think you do. You do because you're part of the day. You know.
I frame it like that as well. Yeah.
It is. You want that, and you're building up. You're building that tension. Right. Okay. Bridesmaids coming in. You got the grooms, and then obviously we had 2 best men there. So you two the best men.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have the best man. I'd imagine coming in.
I think it as well. There are guests at the wedding who, as daft as it may seem, might not know who the bridesmaids and the groomsmen are. They won't know whether it's the bride's sister or her school friend or whatever the bridesmaid may be. And when I introduce them, I go, it is, so and so, long-time family friend, lived together for all the years in uni. And if I give them a little introduction like that, it subtly just lets everyone else know who she. I mean, it sounds daft, but they might not know.
Yeah.
So
then, obviously they're walking into certain tunes, so you can make.
The music came from just. I mean, if they walk into silence, it's a bit cringe, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the music just kind of is a way of getting everyone else in the room livened
up and going.
Yeah. So by the time the happy couple come in, they are like it's a riot. Then they're on their feet, and there's all sorts going on. So.
Yeah.
It's like a panto. Everyone's clapping like this.
Yeah,
and like
Not a panto. Definitely not a panto, mate.
No, I'm just having a joke here.
That's
a rock
That's what we're aiming for.
It's nice. We've had some weddings where they've had upbeat songs to come into, and you get the ones where obviously you got your napkins and they're swinging the napkins.
I love that.
That's a popular one. I'm torn on that though because it looks good. I think for you it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On film.
Oh yeah.
But my thinking is, if they're waving napkins, they're not clapping, and waving napkins is a bit. It's just
there's no noise. There's no noise. There's no.
And I love the sound of the applause because it's just that's.
There's your button. Applause.
There you go. Have you got one?
No, this is.
We'll put it in after.
Yeah, we'll put it in after. I'm not sure whether that. Oh, I think it's working. Yeah, I think so.
Is that applause? Don't give me crickets. I want. Okay. But yeah, so a lot of people request the napkins, which again I think might have come from
America.
Yeah, possibly.
Well, I think the first time we've really had those napkin ones is when you had singing waiters, and you go.
It's a comment. Did they finish with it?
It's usually that song that they finish.
Yeah,
with.
they sort of then they start swinging napkins. Well, saying that, I've had one singing waiter where he starts off with the napkins, and by the end of it, they were doing a conga all the way around the marquee.
Nice.
Hilarious. It was such.
You look at a conga and you think it's cheesy, but then one starts.
Oh no, I love it.
It's like a magnet. You just get drawn to it, and the next thing you know,
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it.
But yeah, no. So when was the first kind of? How did the first time hosting go? If you can cast your mind back to it, how did it go?
It was a couple of years ago. So this has been since COVID. So the first. Again, I've always done magic. And then the first hosting for me would have been February 21. And I started offering it a few months before, and I genuinely thought it would be the top package. People will still book me for the magic, but the hosting will be the one that, the people who've got a bit more money, that'll be for them, the luxury package, if you like. And it just went the other way in terms of everyone books the hosting because nobody wants just the magic. They all want the full shebang with it, So I've kind of altered my packages to suit that. And now it's like I said, it's the one everyone wants, because for me, I thought it would just be a bit of fun and I could play a bit of music and take the mick out the best man and that'd be it. And now it's evolved into like a vital part of the day, because I see that the couple will look at me and go, "We're glad that you did this, because if you didn't do it, he'd have to do it." And they point to an usher who's drunk in the corner, and they're like, "It'd have been terrible,"
Yeah.
So it's evolved now, just from being just a little bit of a comedy 10 minutes into like a vital part of the day.
You also do it, obviously, you do that for the evening, don't you, as well? You can do the magic for the evening.
Again, there's different packages they book, where the most popular one, I finish at the end of dinner, so I get to the end of speeches. So they'll get me, which is, let's be honest, most of the day.
Yeah.
And then I always say, if you've got a bigger wedding with a lot more guests, in terms of guest numbers, so a bigger wedding on the evening where there might be another 50 or another 100 people turning up on the night, they can book me for the evening. I'll do a bit more magic in that lull between desserts and first dance. And then I'll introduce first dance, cake cutting, and if they're going to throw the bouquet, again, all that kind of stuff as well.
That's something that's kind of gone out the window.
I don't think we...
Yeah, I'll be honest, the bouquet one, I don't do too much of it. I did one last year where the bride literally had a separate bouquet to throw. Because she didn't want to throw the main one because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think last year I might have done it 4 or 5 times. Certainly wasn't.
I think I had it once in December, just before Christmas. I think that's the only time I've had throwing of the bouquet. That's completely gone, isn't it?
I mean, it's a fun photo, I think. And it looks good. Is it not?
For us,
is it pain?
Obviously, there's 2 of us, so it's easier for us because we can get the actual bride throwing the bouquet from behind, and so you're in amongst the girls that are getting trying to grab it.
The cat fight and the
balls. And then I've got so I'll get the bride throwing it. Then I can photograph the reactions of all the girls. But
I mean, let's be honest. Whoever catches it, they're supposed to get married next, aren't they? Is that how it works?
They're the next person to get married.
Is it real?
Yeah, it's not realistic.
It's when you see
it's a photo thing. No one's actually going to take it that seriously.
It's when you see the videos of the bride's about to throw it, turns around, gives someone, she turns around, he's down on one knee.
I've seen those. Yeah, I haven't seen it live.
Again,
I've seen
very
them on
American.
Instagram.
That is more international rather than what we do over here.
Yeah.
I always think with everything, we are normally 5 or 10 years behind America. So whatever was the rage 5 years ago, it's slowly coming in.
It's slowly exciting.
Photo booths, I'd seen them in America on the internet. They were every wedding.
20 years ago.
Yeah, and now they're like, it's almost like a staple, aren't they?
I think even now,
I think they're great. I love just going to a wedding. It's like free stuff.
I saw an old man at a wedding, and bless him, he asked the guy on the photo booth stand, he literally approached him and just went, "What's all this about?" Right? I had no idea, didn't it? And then,
Sonny, what's all this?
Yeah, but obviously, if you've never seen one at a wedding, you think it's a bit strange. And the guy just kind of, thought he was taking the mick, so he said, "Oh, well, what you do, mate, is you get in, you take off all your clothes, and you just follow this story." And the guy got in, started taking his shirt off, and he had to run in and be like, "Oh, I was only joking."
Oh dear. Oh, that's. Imagine being there when seeing that.
But it is nice, especially
it saved him
for couples planning their wedding. This whole reason of podcast is what to think about, we suggest things, and if there's money in your budget, things like that. But I do think, like we say, there are times through your day, your drinks reception. We said why, because you're out having your photos taken, you're out having family photos and everything like that.
They're normally about an hour and a half, aren't they?
Yeah,
it is. And it's a very busy hour and a half.
Traditionally, the main time to get married over here is about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, isn't it? And then they want to sit down at 3 or 4. So it's about an hour and a half, isn't it?
You've got that time where you think, actually, I need for my guests to do something. Now, we were guests last year at a wedding, and obviously we're on the other side of it, to be honest.
It's horrible, isn't it?
You sort of do realise,
to get to work.
Yeah, well, you sort of do realise there actually is nothing to do in that an hour and a half, apart from drink and chat. So, like I say, having an entertainer there.
Don't get me wrong. Don't underestimate drinking. That's fun.
Well, yeah,
drink is fun.
Too much,
I tell you what, it did make a difference as a groom when I got married, and I wanted something at my wedding, but obviously didn't want a magician because all my friends and all my family had seen me. So unless
He does that better.
I think that'd be hard for
Well, this is
it's a hard choice for you.
I had a magician in mind. I thought I'm going to get him. In my mind, a hell of a lot better than me. But I knew all my friends wouldn't look at it that way, and they go, "Well, he does that," and they wouldn't give it the credit he did. So I just thought, I'm just not going to have that. So didn't want a magician, and then that's when I realised there isn't a hell of a lot else out
entertainment
there.
wise.
We had some background music. My friend was playing acoustic guitar, which I loved, but I wanted something interactive. And now, I mean, it's all changed now, but I think, what was the rage last year? Crazy golf? Mini golf?
A lot of games.
Yeah.
A lot of the games.
I've seen a few mini golf courses.
Clay
Yeah,
shooting?
last year we had
Clay shooting? Is that,
yeah,
is
we
that
had
one?
clay shooting.
I've seen that a couple of times, yeah.
But last year, because it was so wet, they paid for all these outdoor games.
And just rain.
Bring them all in.
It's a joy of a magician. We can go anywhere. We can, honestly, you know.
Yeah, but Umbrella still do it one-handed.
Indoors, outdoors, whatever you need to. Yeah, but obviously, like we were saying, going back to right at the start, because it has been quite a wet year last year.
Yeah.
So just the close-up magic doesn't require any microphones, any speakers, nothing like that. I'd work from my pocket, so I can just walk up to a group of people.
See, here's us
Indoors,
spending an
outdoors.
absolute fortune on our staff, and he rocks up with a few squidgy balls and
A pack of
and a
cards.
pack of cards.
There's a lot of props that my wife doesn't know how much they cost, so I'm in your position as well.
I know my
Pack of cards.
the favourite
Do you
prop
have
I've
any-
got.
Yeah, but there's
Do you have a
some
new pack
stuff
every
that you're
day?
not aware of. There's like
I was gonna say,
Inspector Gadget stuff going on in the jacket that you wouldn't have.
I was going to say, I think you got a blind
There's
eye to
secret
what.
pockets and all
There's
sorts
so
of
much.
stuff.
There's probably so much he's got that you don't know about.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't judge that quickly.
Do you have a fresh pack of cards every wedding? Do you buy
Yeah,
them
I
in
wouldn't
bulk?
need to, but just because it looks big.
Do you buy them in bulk, like off Amazon?
This is really boring now, but I got a Costco. Okay, here's a story. So when I was younger, they were. So the cards that I get are from America, and there's nothing special about them other than the fact that they're big. They're good. They're smooth, and
They look
from
nice.
like a croupier's point of view,
Yeah.
you can spread them on the table and that kind of stuff. And if I was to just go to WH Smith and get a pack of cards, especially at a wedding, they'd last like 10 minutes because they get covered in fake tan, and you put them on the bar, they get covered in beer and all sorts of stuff. So the ones that I get from America are just a bit smoother, and I mean, they're just a brand. I suppose it's like you using
a
cameras.
brand.
It's just a brand that you just like, right?
Yeah.
And years ago, you'd only be able to get them from certain places, like magic shops, for example. So Diagon Alley.
Oh yeah.
That's right. That's where I'd have to go. And I remember as a kid, they were £5 a pack, right? And I got one Christmas, I had about 25 quid to spend. I was about 10 years old. And I thought, well, if I get 2 packs of cards, that's literally half my money gone. And anyway, so I got the 2 packs of cards and made them last for years. And now it's a hell of a lot different because you can get them from Costco and they're like a quid. They don't really cost that much, right? But I actually wrote to a load of casinos in Las Vegas when I was 12 and just innocently said, I'm a magician.
Can I have your cards, please?
If you've got any cards that you don't want, any chance, and just thought, no one's ever going to respond. And we sent the letters off, and then about 2 months later, a parcel arrived about this big, no letter, nothing, just my name on the box. And inside was I think there was 12. The first box that came through, there was 12 packs of cards from the Luxor Casino, which if you know, the pyramid.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, this is cool, isn't it? And then a week later, another box arrived from the Mirage, different hotel in Vegas.
My
Right?
God.
And over the summer, I ended up with about 200 packs of cards that just got sent. And now they.
Where's your mum going, where the hell are we going to keep all these bloody cards?
The garage was like pallets of it. And now
Don't sneeze,
I got
don't
them for free, and now they sell them. They sell them for like $5 in the souvenir shops.
No.
So,
You can make a killing now. Just buy some stock investment.
At a wedding, you got a little table there going, right, previous things.
they come with a
Do you
little.
want my DVD? Do you want my old pack of cards?
There's a label on the box, and it says these cards were used in actual play at this casino, whatever the casino is. Because literally they use them for half a dozen hands, and then they get rid, because obviously people cheat, so they have to change them all the time.
It's that counting, isn't it? Card counting.
Card count, there's all sorts of scams. But I when I was practicing with them, I always thought like literally somebody could have won or lost hundreds of thousands of dollars with the packet, and I'm just like showing my dad a little crappy card trick,
Another quick question: do you ever get asked to play poker? Because I would hate to play poker against you.
My friends have poker nights. I rarely get the invite because I'm just not trusted. Am I?
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. I understand it. So if I do go, I'm just pouring drinks at the back, just cocktail.
4 aces, 4 bloody aces. I knew you had something up your
Devil
sleeve.
Oh, I love that's one of my favourite scenes of Only Fools and Horses. I haven't even watched like full episodes. You just see things on.
This will
online.
happen though. So what's the line he says at the end? Like I knew you
I knew you had something up your sleeve. Granddad goes, I thought you had something up your sleeve.
He said to
Boys-
Boise,
boys-
It's two pair, isn't it?
I didn't give you the card. I knew you were cheating.
Where did you get those 4 bloody aces from? Same place you got those kings.
Okay.
I knew you was cheating, boy.
So I've had this at weddings where I've done a trick and the guy will pick a card and it sounds really boring, but you shuffle it back up. I find the card, right?
Yeah.
And the guy will say, like, obviously having a drink with his mates, he'll just look at me and go, "That's not my card." I know it's because I gave it to him, so I know what his card is. But he'll be trying it on, and go, "No, I'm going to mess you up a bit." But I'm one step ahead, aren't I? So
Yeah.
I think that those are with magicians, we have to be like you're one step ahead of me, or you're trying to be one step ahead of me to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I know that, so I have to be one step ahead of you, which in turn makes me 2 steps ahead. So
All the time.
the thing that I'm always telling people, because the obvious question is, how do you do it? And the question every day that I get asked is, how do you do it, right? The answer I always give is, you're looking for something that's probably already happened.
Yeah.
So it sounds really harsh, but just don't even bother, because you're looking for something that I've already done. It's already the common one, when they saw the woman in half.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's loads of dancing girls being all sexy out the front. We're looking at the girls. We're not looking at the girls going out the back. She's gone. Like my dad, he's a magician. My dad always told me that, like he said, the saw's going through the woman, and I'm there watching, going, "Oh, she's going to come out in a minute." And my dad would always go, "She's already gone. She's long gone. She's out the back having a cup of tea." So you're looking for something that's already happened.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But in terms of your props, I know my favorite prop of his.
Go on then.
It's your wallet. It's the JOL wallet that you told me about.
Can we talk about that? Okay. Yeah, that's,
you don't
we're
have
talking in
to.
code.
I just think it's. I think it's a nice. It's called JOL wallet.
So there is there was a manufacturer of leather wallets and belts and stuff called Jerry O'Connell, and his brand then became Jerry O'Connell Leather, and they're on all the hallmark or a stamp or whatever on all the leather it would be JOL. And then the first time I met you told me your company was JOL, and I was like, not related to a magician, are you, or in any way?
No, just an acronym.
I walk around with a wallet with JOL on it, so I'm promoting you.
Yeah,
basically.
he's part of us, isn't he? He's part of us. No, I think it's just really, really cool.
It's like sponsored by Pepsi Max.
If you, I can on the wallet, I can add podcast to it if you want. So I'm going to JOL podcast and then
feature of the JOL Wedding podcast. There you go. Oh, hey, up, Dennis is here.
All right.
Hello.
Something? You say anything? No.
No, just a load of kisses.
Yeah, no, I don't want kisses.
No, he doesn't want kisses. It's obviously I'm absolutely loving this new setup. Obviously, because usually we do this in our living room, so we're in the dining room today. There's a different.
You get to see the whole house slowly.
We've had a bedroom before now.
No, don't say that.
Onwards and upwards from here. I feel like I'm the guinea pig for all this.
Oh no! It's absolutely. It's great. It's great to have more guests on.
Go on. Here he comes.
Obviously, for people who are watching this, he's not by Chris.
He's having a cuddle with Chris.
I always cast my mind back to our first episode, and he's there just with Amelia on the sofa.
Sleeping on a. They'll give kisses now. He just wants. Dennis, we're not having kisses now.
You sit there, mate. Pop your little feet down.
Yeah, we'll turn you into a rabbit.
There we go.
That's something I've never done.
Isn't it nuts?
The rabbit out the hat trick. Never done
Call
it.
yourself a magician.
And then it should be like a rite of passage, shouldn't it? And I've just never got around to doing it.
You're not a full magician until you've done this. Here's
the story then. So I got told, again, when I was younger, there was one magician that I knew personally. Again, this was before Facebook and Instagram, and you couldn't just go online and chat to people in your industry. So there was a guy that came to the pub, and he said to me, if you want to earn money as a magician, you need to do kids' parties. So naively, I'm just oblivious to it. And again, magicians at weddings and things like that probably wasn't a thing. So I'm going, okay, well, I'll get some kids' material and I can do that. And his thinking was, you could do like, let's say, one at 11 o'clock, go and do another one at 2 o'clock, another one at 4 o'clock. You can do 3 a day, right? On a Saturday, Sunday, you can do 6 weddings, right? So I got called in to do one wedding where they had about 20 kids, right? And the idea was to get me
He's a right little attention seeker.
So the idea was the adults were going to do the speeches, and then the kids were going to go in a separate room and just, obviously keep quiet. And they got me in as a magician to do like a kids' magic show.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was the first wedding I ever did, but it was definitely one of the early ones. And I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And I was like 16, 17. So I'm a kid myself, going into, a room full of kids. And all I remember was coming out. My mum picked me up out the front, and I got in the car, and I just went, I'm never doing that again. I just didn't like it. And the kids were like, pulling my shirt, a bit like Dennis,
But they're like Dennis now.
Pulling my shirt and all sorts. And
Can you do that trick?
I want to get out. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, there never did kids parties. But the rabbit in the hat, I think, that's where it's a staple for like kids magicians.
Who's that one famous magician?
Dynamo.
No, well, yes, Dynamo, but probably back in the day.
Paul Daniels.
Paul Daniels, that's it.
Did you have a Paul Daniels magic kit as a boy?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
No,
I didn't.
Everyone from the age of like
6, 7.
Yeah,
5.
it's like I was 6, I think, when I got my first one. Maybe a little bit younger. And I think it's just you have a box of like 50 tricks, and that's actually how it started.
Really? Oh, okay.
Before the pub, that's how it started.
Yeah, I remember all the little red little balls that you squidge in one hand and you like that.
Oh,
and
you pull one out.
And it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, also little things like that. You've probably got like 10 little fingers in your pocket.
But also on the day
I try not to use that many actual props.
Yeah.
I'm quite organic as a bit of a fancy.
Yeah.
I'm taking people's phones and coins and watches and wallets and all that kind of stuff.
But that makes it more personal.
Yeah, but that's quite purposefully done that way.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be messing around with, if I bring out a box covered in glitter and like a fancy curtain, I'm just going to put your phone in there. Well, obviously
something's going to
dodgy
happen
with the box.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always I like the idea of approaching a group just.
Street magic.
Nothing on me, just working from my pockets.
Is that more street magic? Would you call it street magic? They'd go, you see them online, you go walking up to people in the middle of the street going, I'll show you this trick. And
yeah, street magic is probably what I always wanted to do, but was never cool enough to do it. Like I look at Dynamo and think, yeah, but he looks cool, doesn't he? Like the way he dresses and everything.
Oh, when he walks on water, that was.
And if I wear the clothes he wears, people are going to look at me and go, "Are you all right, mate? Are you like?" I wouldn't be able to get away with it.
You should look, going to around, just going to Shrewsbury Town Centre and doing that. I'd look like a right tit.
He used to get. I feel bad that I think all magicians do this. Where Dynamo used to get a lot of flack from magicians who were basically just jealous.
Yeah.
And I think I'd probably hold my hands up in that camp as well, because we'd look at him and go like, well, I could do that, and then you realise, no, we couldn't.
No.
But also him and the success that he's had, and there's no other way to say this, has got me more work because he's made magic cool.
Yeah.
Over the last 10 or 15 years or however long it's been, like. But I remember I used to go to, let's say, a group of 10 people at a table at a wedding. And I'd always get them, but the first introduction was always a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
And when I say I'm a magician, you could see there'd be a few like eye rolls and
here
we go. And I'd have to work a hell of a lot harder to sort of get them on my side. And I was confident I could always get them there, but the first bit was always like, just trust me, all right?
Just trust me.
It's not shit, just trust me. And then Dynamo came along, and all of a sudden magic's cool.
Yeah.
And I get to the table, and they're like, "Oh, we love magic," and
they're
there already, and I'm going to work, So
makes his life easier. But in terms of going back to kind of what you do on the day, you also do for the past, I think a couple of times I've seen you, is you do a trick to the whole room as well.
Yeah, so that stemmed from the hosting side of things. Yeah, so again, it's always been close up, and then the hosting came along, and it evolved over the past couple of years. So now, we'll get the couple into the room,
and
then we'll have dinner. When they're having dinner, I'll be going around the tables doing close magic. I'll do a little bit at the top table, so the couple get to see,
what they've paid for. What they've paid for.
Well, and also uninterrupted, because during the drink section, they normally have someone dragging them away for something, like a hug or a drink or a photo or whatever.
So usually us, isn't it? Dragging away for photos.
You with a caterer, and there's everyone speaks.
Look at this. Can you come
or Nan, can you have a photo of with Uncle Derek or things like that?
And they're like, no, we'll be fine. And then the drink reception happens, and they realise they've probably got 10 minutes with their friends, and that's it. But
that's the thing. Obviously, that's why we do. It's the lack of education that people. don't have.
It is just educating couples because this is hopefully the only time they do it. So it's
fingers crossed it is.
Obviously, we're in. How do you call it? Imposing, not imposing. We're just saying this is what we know, and this is what we.
We've got the experience of going to 50, well sometimes 30 to 50 weddings a year. So it's but yeah. Anyway,
well, yeah. So you go around tables, the top tables see it, but then when we get ready for the speeches, assuming they're at the end, although let's be honest, a lot of people do before the dinner now, don't they? But whenever the speeches are, I will get everyone. I'll make sure the audience are attentive and facing the front, and just it's housekeeping. But phones are switched off and all that kind of stuff. And by doing that, I'm hopefully settling the nerves for the speech. Everyone's always nervous about doing speeches, aren't they? So traditionally, if the one of the dads is going to go first, then I want him to have a warmed up audience. I don't want him to just start. If he just stands up, starts speaking, and no one really knows what's going on, I'm at the back of the room going, it just needs someone, to just get everyone facing the front and just making sure they're all paying attention.
And quiet.
Yeah. So I always used to just stand up, tap the glass, and just go, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do speeches. But then it evolved into, well, why don't I just do a trick? Because I need 2 minutes. It's going to take 2 minutes to set them down. They're all having a few drinks, and
someone's still at the toilet.
If there's one table at the back doing shots, they're going to be a bit lively. So what I'll do is I will do one trick for literally 2 minutes. It's not about me. It's not about the trick. But what it does, it gets everyone clapping. It gets everyone laughing just for that, 2 minutes or so that when I hand over to Dad, he has now got a decent warmed up audience, and they'll all be cheering for him, and they'll all know exactly what's going on at this point. Because again, I've been at weddings where they'll just stand up and start talking, and no one will have a clue what's going on.
That's my worst nightmare, when they stand up and start talking. I'm like, no, wait.
We had no one. My wedding was 2016. We had nobody to introduce us.
See,
this to just say the speeches are starting.
Yeah,
everyone pays attention. That's what we need.
When people are doing DIY weddings, or they're having marquees, or they haven't got like a master service or someone that is running their day,
wedding coordinator or anything,
having someone that does that. Like my niece got married last year, and they had no one running the day. And
well, it was
James to do it.
It was a small wedding at the local church, and the reception was on site with the church as well, and everything like that. But yeah, obviously there's no one there to kind of settle some of the rowdy ones down. So
I'll tell you a secret.
Dad steps up.
This is wedding industry secrets now. So a lot of the people who work in the venues, the coordinators or planners or whatever title you want to give them, that's the bit they hate doing.
Yeah, they do.
They'll be great planning the day and all the little things, but on the actual day, standing in front of 100 strangers and going, right, you lot, pay attention. That's the bit they hate.
Yeah.
That's the bit I love.
Yeah.
Give it to me. I want to do it,
Yeah.
So when I'm working at certain venues that I go to regularly, the wedding coordinators, when I walk in, they're like, oh, God,
thank God you're here.
They're a rowdy bunch. We're so glad you're here because we don't want to do this. I'm like, oh, this is my kind of crowd. This is what I want to work with.
Yeah.
But obviously that's brilliant, because it stems from as soon as you arrive. Well, obviously in terms of you set up all your gear and everything like that in the the wedding breakfast room, but then getting out there, talking to all the guests, getting amongst them, they know you. As soon as that comes, they want to listen to you, because.
Well, there's a familiarity.
Well,
can never say that word, but there's rapport, isn't it? You just they know who I am, and I'm not I'm not going to tell them off. We're going to have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, it's like when you go back to us, we're trying to make kind of guests feel comfortable around us, because we're the ones taking their photos, because everyone's very self-conscious about sometimes. So we want them to feel comfortable around us. So we'll have a laugh, have jokes with them, and then
definitely.
when it comes to the big group shot, they know who we are. But everyone's focused, so it's that personal experience we're having with.
But I think for couples as well, when they're planning a day, it's just thinking about their guests as well. That a lot of people, some venues actually go for always say have a 2:00 wedding, because you literally get married. An hour and a half later, you're in for your meal. Then you go. As soon as you finish your meal, your speeches, your evening guests are coming.
Just flows, doesn't it?
There's no lull.
There's no breathing room.
There is no breathing room or anything.
Some people want the lull, though, don't they? Because they'll have planned.
I like the lull. I like the lull, but I like it. We all say to couples, your guests will only remember. They'll remember what you look like, how beautiful you are. Remember the food. Because if you've got crap food...
Food's a big one.
If you've got crap food, that they're not going to be happy. If
I never used to appreciate it, and then
you do.
it does make one hell of a difference.
And entertainment, So if you've got a good band, a good DJ, like you say, something else that's that little bit different, they'll go, do you remember so and so? And it sticks in their mind, and I think that's what you need to do. You don't need to spend
I can't name her, but there was a bride. I did a wedding in December 12 months ago, and she messaged me on Instagram this December, so obviously 12 months later, and just said, we've just been to a wedding and we're so glad we booked you because there was nothing at this wedding going on.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what happened? And she was like, there was just nothing. There was just absolutely nothing.
I think it's boring.
And as a guest, like the bride and groom were happy because they were, they're busy, but the guests were like...
It's their family and friends, isn't it? You may not know anyone.
There was nothing going on, So I think unless you've been to a wedding as a guest, you really don't understand. There are bits in the day when nothing's happening and time there needs to be filled.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I actually worked with a traditional Toastmaster last year for one couple, and lo and behold, that bride, one of the bridesmaids, I was doing her wedding as well 2 months later. And obviously with the Toastmaster, it's completely different because they're there organising the photos and everything like that as well. So they're a bit more formal.
Yeah. So when I started doing my side of hosting or Toastmastering or whatever you want to call it, my whole thing was to make it less formal and more like we're going to have a laugh, And I'm quite also at self, like I tend to make up myself a hell of a lot. So I know that they're all going to be looking at me going like, magic, really? And they're all, and I need to win them over. But also when I start, I think my opening gag is, I'm a magician. They couldn't afford Dynamo. I'm all you've got. So let's just deal with it and let's crack on,
But yeah, so obviously in terms of when you get to go to other weddings and then see other people, so with this one, they saw him there just because of how he helped out with the photos and just basically organised them.
It helps.
It helps, and they booked him for 2 months later. So that was quite nice to see that someone getting.
Do you get like for you as well? Is most of your work word of mouth, or
a lot of it's word of mouth?
Oh, we get wedding stalkers. We've had people going, I've seen you at this wedding, I've seen you at that wedding, I've seen you at this wedding, because obviously we're getting referrals from their family and friends, so they're going to all these weddings and seeing us.
We're seeing the same, we are. We can say the same circle of people.
That's good, though.
Which is lovely.
I love it. Like when it happens to me,
I love it. I love it.
My record is getting to a wedding and there's been 3 other brides as guests at that wedding.
I've never
and the thing is, those 3 don't even know each other. They weren't like friends. They all know the bride, but they're from different friendship groups.
It gives me my clock again.
It's now 2:00.
We've had one where for the evening a previous bride and groom turned up, and they walked up to that day's bride and groom and went, "Oh my God, you got the same photographers as us!" And the groom turned around to the other groom. If they tell you to go outside to do the night shots, just do it. Don't argue. Don't say nothing. Just go and do it. Because trust us, you'll be amazed. And we went out and did photos the evening for the night shots, and we showed the groom the back of the camera, and he went, "Oh, bloody hell, he was right, wasn't he?" And I was like, "What are you on about?" And he goes, "Well, so and so said, just go out for night photos. You'll be amazed." And
do as you're told.
Yeah. Do as you're told. When they say do something, just go and do it. And it's brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant. But yeah, we kind of like to kind of end the podcast usually on
top tips.
Yeah, top tips of what you'd give a bride and groom for their wedding day.
Oh, it's hundreds. We could do another hour on this. So from my line of work, from your line of work, So I said it earlier. Even if you don't get me, get a magician, because it just makes sense. It gets people talking. And if you're not going to get a magician, definitely get something in the drinks reception, because that is the point. The happy couple are off doing their photos and chatting to 70 other people, and the guests can get very bored. So yeah, just get something. Another tip. What can I give you? Is it cliche if I just say it's your day?
No, it's not.
No, it's not at all.
And if all the family are getting involved and telling you to do X, Y, Z, just tell them to sod off. Just
unless you don't you right for gigs.
Well, I see this and I hear people saying, "Oh, so and so said we should have done this and we can't have that because
usually mothers." No, I think it's usually mothers, isn't it?
The couple, whoever you are, whatever you're into, do your thing.
Do your thing.
Don't be afraid. Like we had at our wedding, we had a silent disco.
I've never seen that at a wedding. That sounds
I would
pretty
love.
cool.
Yeah, we haven't.
Well, you wouldn't have seen it because it was at the end of the night.
Oh,
so
right,
the photographer, they'd finished and gone. But I know that if I'd have mentioned it before to any of the family, they'd have been like, "Oh no, you don't want that. Like, just get."
You want the night to be like pumping.
Yeah. So the way it worked at our wedding, we had a great band, and then when the band finished about 11:30 midnight, the bar closed. I've got hazy details in my head because I've had quite a few, but we all filtered out into where the accommodation was. There was like an orangery, if you like a conservatory type area, and we just had the silent disco in there. And the venue were like, "Well, as long as you don't make any noise, we're okay." And we went, "Well, it's a silent disco." And they were like, "Well, just crack on." So so we had a silent disco, and it went till about 4 a.m. And it meant the venue could just lock up and just the bar was shut, but we had this area where we could just do the silent disco. And gutted that there was no official photo and video of it, and the only footage we've got is just blurred iPhones just being waved like this in the air.
But that's still cool.
But I know, going back to it, I know that if we'd have said we're going to have this silent disco, certain people at our wedding would have been like, "Oh, that's a bad idea." It was the best thing of the day.
It was right at the end.
People probably say about me, they go, "Well, we're going to book a magician," and there will be people in the wedding party that go, "Oh,
no, you don't want
a magician," because I know they've probably never seen. Like the only magic they would have seen is rabbits and hats, and that kind of stuff.
Well, I think that's what they think of. Is that Paul Daniels?
That's the international symbol for rabbits and hats. Just by the ears, pull them out.
I think, isn't that my top tip? Probably. It's you're spending money on something that's memorable, rather than something you don't actually need. And we keep on going. I always keep on going about all little favours on the table. No one remembers them. No one even really takes them home.
Yeah, I got a thing on favours.
They're a nice little photo, but
that for what people spend on.
So my thing about favours is, if it is literally just going to be sugared almonds, just throw them in the bin. Like, I'll just save everyone a shop.
Sugar almonds, but that was like 25 years ago.
Well, that's my thing, right? Okay, but if you're going to get for wedding favours. If it's because I've seen them where they get, if it's something personal, I mean, like for example, I've seen pin badges for like cancer research.
Yeah, definitely.
Because a member in the family has had an illness. I totally get that. I'm on board with that, obviously, right?
Yeah, completely.
Or the other one is if the couple have made the favours.
Yeah. Because
they're into like, I don't know, whatever, right?
Gin. They're in little gins.
Or wax melts, or flower seeds, or if they've put together like a little package, I totally get that. But if you're just going to pay a company to put sugared almonds in a box, that it winds me up, right? Because I just think that's like a couple £100 or whatever, £100 or whatever it is.
Wasted.
And I've actually said to someone in the past, just put that £100 behind the bar and just get a couple of shots for it, a couple of bottles of wine for the table or whatever. Just £100
towards entertainment.
But
I didn't want to say that, but
It's one plug your business.
I'm hoping that's what they'll think, but but genuinely, I think there's certain things that do get forgotten about at weddings. I've got to be careful how I say this because I've got some friends who do certain things and I don't want to upset them. But there's things that make a difference and there's things that are just going to get forgotten about.
Yeah.
And okay, so the easiest one I could say is I did a wedding at, I'm not going to say where.
You did a wedding.
So there was, and it was nothing to do with the venue, but I just don't want to give away who it was. And just because you never know, they might be watching. And the couple, they would come to me and they go, "We really want you, but we're having trouble, finances." So that's fine. It's not for everyone. I'll try and help you out a little bit, but obviously I've got where to live in. And I've got in my mind, I think it was like a prime day in August, and it was like, if you don't book it, someone else is gonna. So I can't knock off too much money because And I had that awkward conversation with them, and then I turned up on the day, and after I'd given them a little bit of a discount, and they'd scraped together the pennies to book me. I turned up on the day, and at the top table were these two like thrones, and I just thought, why? Have you spent money on
a throne?
I just did it in my head. I'm like, just doing this, going like, what the hell? So there's stuff like that that'll be forgotten about. I won't forget about it. I'll remember it. I can guarantee the guests won't remember it. But I'm there going like, how much did them thrones cost you to sit on for 2 hours?
Sparkly dance floors. People are pissed dancing on.
I've seen good. Well, again, there's good ones.
There are good ones, and there are.
I've seen absolutely terrible ones, and but the throne thing looked. I think it was their way of looking like
royalty.
Yeah.
I think didn't they
what's the wedding breakfast? 2 hours? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe had them.
But the wedding breakfast is 2 hours, and I'm guessing now, but what, a couple £100, £100, couple £100?
Yeah, something like that.
And they're
Yeah.
moaning because they couldn't afford me or probably someone else. I'm like, you could have just forget the chairs and just, it winds me up.
Oh, yeah.
So,
But yeah, anyway. Well, thank you so much for.
I feel like we need to
coming
end on a positive note here.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
end on. Okay. So again, nothing to do with me, but for food.
Yeah.
If you're worried about what people are going to eat and what people forget, just get what you want to eat. There you go. Because we're worried about like certain people, dietary requirements. As long as you cater for the,
For the vegetarians, vegans, things like that. Yeah.
But like, my mum's not vegetarian, and she was like, I don't really like beef. I was like, tough, you're having it. Like, that's what we've got. That's it. Just deal with it. And she genuinely said to me, I think the week before the wedding, she went, I might just bring a couple of sandwiches on the day. And I was like, whoa. The money we're paying, you're not bringing sandwiches, mother. So yeah, just get what you want and just forget about everyone else. If you're into it, if you like it, go with it.
It's your wedding day. It's your wedding day. You do you.
That is horrendously cliche, but it is true.
Definitely.
So,
But no, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you on.
rambled my way through this, but I think I'll come back and do a proper one in a couple of months. We'll do it again. This will be the rehearsal.
Honestly, no.
No, you are absolutely fabulous. But obviously, like I say, we are recording this on YouTube as well. So if you did want to go and kind of watch us talk about this as well, just head over to our YouTube channel. It will be lit. See the faces, see the faces behind the voices. Check out Dennis, kind of mauling all over Christian.
Mauling over Christian.
He's
Fell asleep.
He's absolutely flat out now. But yeah, obviously this is going on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So give us a 5-star rating. That'll be absolutely wonderful. But no, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully this year is going to be a very good, successful year for everybody. But yeah, thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for listening to the JOL Wedding Podcast. Share this podcast with anyone you know who is on the journey of planning a wedding. Check out other episodes of this podcast as well as links to our social media platforms at the JOL Wedding Podcast.